watch my back and the smoke your ass. And when I come jack, that's why some pigs and the kids come sweating, they follow. Hollow point shills hard to swallow. I wallow when they come to roll on it with the clip in the wolf, I break your head sign. I'm kicking dust, kizzy, he to get bust. My crib's surrounded, I'm about to get rushed. I rush with that. How many shells left in my closet? Where my back roll might splat when the shit goes down. Better be ready.
When the shit goes down.
When the shit goes down. You better be ready.
When the shit goes down.
When the shit goes down. You better be ready.
When the shit goes down.
When the shit goes down. You better be ready.
Better be ready.
I told the boys to start off Glocks and the rest of the guys I strap on the bulletproof vest. I think I got one for that test. Hot damn, I didn't want to kill a man. Shit, still stand tall with the Hill Clan. Y'all, you better step back. You better fall. I'm coming up blasting like a Simony Sam. I got the cheese and the bread for them. Shit goes down. You better be ready.
When the shit goes down.
When the shit goes down. You better be ready.
The following show features stupid opinions and ideas from two idiot brothers who probably did little research and practiced zero due diligence on the topic at hand. The MLO Bros' opinions do not reflect the views of their employer, guests, sponsors, families, neighbors, or pets. If you do not like what they are saying and don't agree with their views or opinions, don't watch the show. We can promise we do not care. Welcome to the worst show on the internet.
I'm still cold from singing.
I know, me too. It was so cold today, but it was fun.
Freezing. We got done. For those of you joining us, welcome to the MLO Bros. We are both. I'm kind of tired tonight because we were out in the cold in front of Giant Eagle for 2 hours.
Yep.
Singing Christmas carols.
Here,
and
get me out.
What are you doing?
Sorry.
What is that?
I'm gonna add some pictures and stuff. Ooh.
What?
But yeah, no, today was fun. I'm very tired.
Dude, you gave it your all.
What?
You gave it your all. You gave it way more than I did.
I did. I sang a lot, I sang a lot. I tried to stay warm.
It was good. It was good. I think we collected a lot of money. It's hard to see because I saw some people putting in $1 into this out, and then I saw like a couple ladies like dropping like 20.
I know. So we'll see tomorrow if we actually
did they do a total? Will
I
they
don't
tell
know.
us a
Puppies
total?
I think they will. Yeah, that'd be great.
Well, tonight on the show we have Chris, who is the I keep saying the thing, or was it chief editor in chief? What are you doing? You're annoying me. Right
Sorry, uploading photos. Is it annoying? Is it annoying when I look at your phone when you're talking?
Yes, super annoying. I'm trying to talk.
Oh, is it? Oh, how's that feel?
All right, I'm going to bring Chris on for Mahoning Matters. He can introduce himself. Hey, Chris.
Hey, what's up?
Nothing, man. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. We were having some issues. We're both exhausted. You were putting in Christmas requests today.
Yeah, I was trying to mess you guys up. Anything inappropriate would be good.
You can't mess us up. We don't care. I mean, I don't know if you watched any of that freaking train wreck today, but you're gonna trip us up. You're not gonna. It's tough to get us.
It was a long day at work. I needed something fun. I tuned you guys in. Got some laughs. It was good. Thank you.
Were you watching when we got kicked out of Giant Eagle?
No, I missed that part. But I think we have like a separate Facebook post that talks about it. I gotta check that out. I was for the outside, so.
Yeah, we started outside and then we moved inside to Giant Eagle to ring the bell, and then a manager walked by and he's like, "You guys aren't allowed to be in here. There's what did he say? A contract or something."
He said you guys are supposed to be outside, and I was like, "Sorry, it's cold outside." And the song you requested, and he said, "Well, the contract states that Salvation Army is supposed to be outside, not inside the doors." And I was like,
"Really?
Sorry, I'm just a volunteer donating my time. I don't know what the rules are." And then he's like, "Well, you don't have to." I was like, "We'll move outside. We'll go outside to not hurt."
Yeah, we automatically go into like smart ass. It's smart ass. As
Right.
soon as somebody says, I mean, immediate smart ass.
I mean, you're
Perfect
Salvation Army.
contra.
What's
What's
more
that?
wholesome? What's more wholesome than the Salvation Army? Come on, you know.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So tell us about yourself, Chris. What do you got? So you're the senior editor. So I say that right. The senior editor of Mahoning Matters.
Mhm.
Now we had the previous editor on. I think he was the editor, Mark Sweetwood, right?
Yeah.
So when
I
did you
believe
take?
so, yeah.
When did you take over for him?
Well, they had somebody in between him and me. But I joined the company, I believe it was February, and been doing it since then. And we changed what we were doing. I'd never met Mark before, but back at that time, they were doing more in-depth stories and columnists and everything. We decided, we need an audience. So we decided just to cover Mahoning Valley like everybody else does. So we have daily news and everything. So we've kind of changed the way we've done things, and it's been fun. Enjoy it. Mahoning Valley is a great area to cover for news. There's always something interesting going on, and it's been fun. I mean, there's a lot of fun stories, and obviously it's sad covering the sad stories, but I'm enjoying every minute of it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, what do you think of the Mahoning Valley? What do you think of us over here?
It's great. I mean, I've been associated with Mahoning Valley throughout my whole life.
Yeah.
My grandparents, I don't know if you know where this is, the old McGuffey farm over in Hubbard. They lived over there. It's kind of in the news. Yeah, it's kind of in the news lately because there's some people upset about what's happened to the farm.
Wait. That's the Mill Creek thing. Mill Creek Park McGuffey Historical Society.
Yeah, they used to have a house on there, which was the old McGuffey homestead. When I was a kid, my grandparents lived there, and I got to hang out there as a kid. And
your grandparents lived, and now they're all the people are all pissed off because they're accusing the park of not keeping the pond up to date and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been there for like 30 years, but it's definitely changed since then. And to be honest, I'm an editor, and I'm supposed to be impartial. I don't want to get myself in the middle of that. I've had people from both sides call me and go, "Oh, you used to live there, or your grandparents live there. What do you have to say?" And we don't want any part to do with it. I mean, we hope the best, but grandparents haven't lived there for 25 years. I mean, it's not really our deal anymore.
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah, we have all kinds of fun stories to cover here, don't we? That's why Isaac and I think Isaac and I have a lot of fun with our news, obviously, which is what we cover, because I mean it's entertainment to us, right, Isaac?
If you want to call it news, that's the truth. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, we're not exactly we pretend. We always say we pretend to be journalists. We are not journalists. We are opinion oriented, but we do. I think we do share some news, Isaac.
Oh,
sure. We cover certain things, Yeah,
no, I've listened, guys. It's a lot of fun. I mean, obviously, you guys have to do a little bit differently than we can, but
just
sometimes we have private discussions that we can't put on the internet. But no, we enjoy listening to you guys.
Appreciate it. What so tell us, I wanted to kind of get into Mahoning Matters and some of the stuff. Now, I did, like I said, I could tell the difference because I follow. We try and follow as much news as possible, obviously for the podcast and also just for the Facebook groups. We get a lot of stuff there. So you guys have kind of turned it because before, now you're just relaying information. Was it more, like you said, in-depth articles? And I guess my question goes to, how hard is it for you as an editor or even for your writers? Because you just said you want to stay neutral, right?
Right.
How hard is that for you guys to stay neutral?
You just gotta not care, to be honest with you. I mean, you gotta get to a point where, I'm a human. I care about people, and obviously, if it's like a fatal or a gun, somebody got killed by gunfire, you care. But like on all these like squabbles, you talk about Mill Creek with the hunting and everything else. You just gotta get to the point where you just cover it and you just be done with it. I have friends in the industry that say, "Oh, I get death threats and all this other stuff." I look at the point where it's just. You have to have thick skin. You can't just let it bug you. I mean, you guys talk all the time about you got people who hate you online and everything, and you just have to kind of chuckle it off. You be serious about it, but don't let it bother you too much. I mean, that's how I have to look at it.
Do you guys get messages about like, how dare you write that article, or this was warped, or do you ever get anything like that, or you're biased, or?
Yeah, I mean, it happens. I mean, we're a news org. We do that. We get messages from people saying, "Well, why have you changed? I like the way it used to be, where it's more in-depth articles." And I'll be honest, and I can say this. I mean, we were looking for more audience, and you have to write a little bit more to get audience. And sometimes if you write like 1 or 2 stories a day, you don't get as many people looking at it as if you do more stuff. It's like when you guys did that fun podcast earlier. Hey, when you record more, you got more people checking out. It's the same principle for news. Yeah.
That is social media 101, right, Isaac? Isaac's leaving. Isaac?
His game is done. Look out.
Isaac, do you agree with that? I mean, that's like social media 101, right? Post as much content as possible.
Yeah. Post content regularly at the same time so that people know when to tune in.
Yeah. He's saying he's hammering. You guys are like hammering. How many articles do you drop a day on Mahoning Matters?
Sometimes 10 to 12. Not short articles. I mean, look, we have to look at what and when I say competitors, we don't hate any of the other news orgs in the area.
Yeah.
But we compete them against because we're a news org, they're a news org. Look at KBN and FMJ. They do 10, 12 stories a day. Now, a lot of times their stories are very small. So we try to have easily digestible, small stories. We try to have fun. Internet, people like different things than print. So when an anchor comes to town or if an anchor leaves, we write about that. We write about weather. We try to have fun while covering the major news of the day too.
Awesome. Yeah, that's good.
Is it primarily on Facebook or where is it primarily taken in from?
You mean where you can find our news at?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a dedicated website, mahoningmatters.com, but we hammer Facebook. We hammer social media. Just because we love the fact you guys have some Facebook groups you let us in. We like to share stuff on there. It's good because, hey, hopefully people who are on the Facebook site clicks on our articles, but also, too, we start establishing a relationship. I get messages from people. Hey, you wrote about this. Why don't you write about that and everything? And it's a real nice, easy way of just getting your face out there and getting people to interact with you. It's good.
Awesome.
Yeah, it seems like they're just short, like you said, easily digestible, covering the main points of the story, little tiny articles, which I like.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Now there's times when we'll write more in-depth stuff. Like our reporter, there was a lady from Lisbon who had the first breast cancer vaccine in the world, and she lived in Lisbon. Well, she got to talk to her. That was a story we needed more information, so she wrote a little bit longer. We have partners like Sports Illustrated that gives us stories we can write. Sometimes those articles are longer, but I love the short stuff. Because if you're online, unless you're sitting there and you're in bed and you're getting up for the day, you want to read short stories. You don't have time to sit there and read an article for 15 minutes. So that's kind of the way we do things.
I know. I like I said, I know. I was excited to have I use Mahoning Matters for a lot of our stuff too. You know what I mean? Like because it's quick, Isaac, and then that way you can dig more. You know what I mean? That's why I like it. And I know Mahoning Matters using us sometimes too because, like I said, Chris and I have been kind of throwing stuff back and forth. He kind of. I'm not gonna lie. He kind of jumped on that Pastor AJ story.
Oh goodness gracious!
Remember? The Pastor AJ one, and that was a good one there.
Well, when people write ridiculous stuff, especially if they represent like God or being a pastor or whatever, I mean, you've got to write about it. There was some dude from, I can't remember now, like Southwest Ohio that jumped on this Youngstown State thing when they picked Bill Johnson. Yeah. And he was calling like the YSU profs, all liberals, weirdos and stuff like that. And we had to jump on that because, and you guys have done a great job of talking about before. You got to be careful on social media. And there's a lot of people who represent something, either a politician or a pastor, and they say ridiculous things online. And it's one thing, for us to say things and have fun. It's another thing when you're throwing around big words and you mean it. It just makes all you represent look bad. So, I can't guarantee we'll write about every time it happens, but we're going to try to call out as much as we can.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, when you, like you said, when you stand up for some cause or behind you're a leader within a certain group of people or a politician or something, you were held to a higher standard. And a lot of these idiots then get wrapped up in that and say something stupid. And then, I know the right loves to claim like freedom of speech, but then like we talked about with that Pastor AJ, like freedom of speech is a double-edged sword where if you want to live on that hill and die on that hill, you're going to die on that hill because everybody's going to talk about your stupid words that you shared. So,
well, and that's that's the issue of social media. We can disagree and have fun. Like you guys like the Browns. You'll see over my shoulder I have the Steelers. I'm a big Steelers guy. Well, it's one thing you could tease me about how horrible my team is this year, which they are. But it'd be weird if like you made some really crazy comment like Steelers fans get the hell out of our area or something like that.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
There's a way we can joke and have fun without being ridiculous. And for some reason, for a lot of people with social media, just you have to say really crazy, outrageous things to be noticed.
Right.
And it's so dumb. It's what's wrong with our society right now.
100%. And what we notice is too with social media is how not it's brave, but it's the keyboard warrior kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So what Isaac and I have started doing, and it is amazing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every time somebody gets like seriously pissed at us, and I'm not talking about some fake account, right? I'm talking about people who genuinely get pissed at us giving our opinion because it happens. We started giving them our phone numbers.
Yeah.
Hey, why don't you call us? And this is all Isaac's idea. This is not me. Why don't you give us a call? Why don't you call and talk? Isaac, I've done it probably 6 times. Have you had anybody call you yet?
Never. So the thing is, it's like, oh, you two idiots don't know what you're talking about. And there's you can just tell when they say things, it's so hate-filled. And it's like, listen, I don't know who you are. You're obviously from Youngstown. You're obviously a member of our community. But if you really hate me so much and you want to find out really what my opinions are, why don't you call me? Here's my phone number. Let's have a discussion, and I'll explain my points, and you can explain your points, and we'll find out why you hate me so much, and we'll be able to break it down. And I guarantee at the end of that phone conversation, you'll understand more about me, and you won't hate me as much as you think you do. And all it goes to show is that people think they're so tough online and they're such hardos online, when really in real life, nobody ever acts like that in person. Like a perfect example is today, there's someone who notoriously comments and hates everything that we do on social media. And anytime something even remotely bad comes up that they disagree with that we do, they always comment. So they're always watching and waiting for that opportunity. And then when that opportunity arises, they jump on it. But today,
So
I didn't even notice them, but Luke did. That one of these people, they came to Giant Eagle today. I don't know if they were just passing by or if they were stalking us or what.
Oh, they were stalking because they went into the store.
They went into the store and they went out of their way to drive all the way around twice and then go in the other door that wasn't by us because they've been such a jerk and so hate-filled that they know they think like, oh, I'm not going to go in front of these guys. When if he would have gone in front of us and he would have talked to us and said, hey guys, what are you doing? Like, even if he hates us, it's not the same as online, but he's just scared.
Yeah.
It's just it's wild,
So,
man. It's
absolutely. And you guys have said this before. We have trolls too, and it's funny because when you get your trolls, it actually opens you up to more people too.
Because, we say that all the time.
Yeah, and it used to bother me. Like, I'm an editor. Not everyone's gonna like me. I'm sure people out there listening to me like, this guy. But if you don't like me, don't like me. But it's like you guys say in the intro of your show. If you really don't like it that much, just don't listen. I mean, there's other options out there. I mean, there's so many other media outlets in the Valley. There's other podcasts. I do a personal podcast. It's like, we want everyone to read us. We like what we do. I want everyone to listen to my podcast and your podcast too. Yeah. But if you're just going to be a troll about it, do other things for life. I mean, life's short, man. I mean, we're not guaranteed tomorrow.
They won't do it though. They can't. They get obsessed with it. It's an obsession.
And the wild thing is they don't understand advertising and marketing and how this whole game works, because then they like take your article and they post it and they say, "Oh, look at this stupid article and this and this and this and this." Yeah. It's like, "Oh, thanks for sharing my article. We'll get to read it now."
No, I'm surprised. We've got a lot of great response from the area. We've set records with our page views and audience and all this other stuff. So it's like, you just take the good with the bad. If you're good, not everyone's going to like what you have to say or do. But you just keep trudging forward, do the best you can, and be honest. I mean, we screwed up sometimes our first year. Yeah. When somebody says, hey, you did something weird, you apologize, you change what you're doing. You treat people like you want to be treated. And knowing what our business is like, not everyone's going to like what you do. And you just kind of move on and just go from it.
Real quick, how many people do you have working for you guys? Like, is it where you got reporters? Like, what do you have? Like,
yeah, we have one full-time reporter. Her name's Kelsey. She just graduated from Youngstown State.
Oh,
does
awesome.
a great job. Yeah, she does a great job for us. I'll give you a little preview. I can't really say too much about it now, but she just got accepted for a fellowship. So she's going to study for a week in the next couple months in D.C. and Nashville. Really high honor. She's done a great job. Really excited to have her part of the team. But we have freelancers. We have a guy that used to work for the Tribune Chronicle. He freelances with us. We have a longtime sports editor of the Lance Review. He just retired. He's doing our sports. We have a guy wanting to get in the business. He's young and fresh, and he's helping us out too. And we're owned by McClatchy. It's like one of those big newspaper companies.
Okay.
But we have people working for them that directly work with us too. So we have a couple girls that write kind of like fun stories about what the Ohio law says about stuff.
Yeah.
We posted a story the other day. Was talking about, hey, if you got marijuana as a gift, like say you go to your family in Texas, can you bring it back to Ohio? What's the law for that? So they do kind of quirky, fun stories like that that our readers really like. And again, you might sit there and say, well, it's not always what happens at the local city council meeting, but we're finding that right now online, that stuff does not always do well. And I know it's like counter. Like the 20-year-old in me would say, "No, boy, that would never happen." But it's true. I mean, my wife, the city we live in, she doesn't care about what happens at council unless it affects her personally or her street. And I think so many times right now in journalism, we sit there and say, "Oh, Youngstown City Council, we got to cover every meeting because it's Youngstown, and it's important." Not many people like that. So what we do, when you look at the stories we write, we go in each day and we're kind of sitting there like, local's important to us. But what is stuff that people read? People read crime. People read stories about new business. People read quirky stories about what the law says about that. So we just focus on fun stuff and serious stuff that we know people care about, want to read more about.
You know, Chris, you just Isaac and I have said this since day one of doing the show.
Yeah.
We could have the Pope himself on our show, right? Yeah. And we'll get 15 views, 20 views, whatever, right? We could cover, example, the Mill Creek Park deer. And we're going to say, hey, Luke is going to go off tonight on the Mill Creek Park deer because Luke got attacked by somebody online and we have the stuff. Tune in. We will have more people for that second one than we would the Pope coming to visit us. Yeah. I swear, people these days, it's like Facebook is their entertainment, right? And they want to be entertained. They
want like emotion. They want to
controversy.
They want to see controversy and like dramatics. I don't know. It's wild, man. People are crazy. And like the other thing too is like you'll post a video or a post of whatever it is, and you're like, this one's gonna hit, and it doesn't. Then the next time you post something and you're like, oh, this is just us screwing around. Let's just have fun. And it blows up. And you're like, what is happening? Like the what people identify with, it's really strange. And you don't know. People are interesting creatures.
And we still got to cover the news, but it's just like I said, you just have to figure out what people like. I was at editors meeting recently where some guy's like, I want our readers to like this, so I'm going to write all these stories. I'm like, no. Right. You can't make people like. I mean, I could sit here and tell you about 70s band I like for the next half hour, but I know you guys won't give a rip, so why am I wasting your time? And it's the same principle with that as what we give our readers. I mean, yeah, there's times when we'll write news stories. I'm not saying we only do stories about crime, but you got to give people what they want. And because, again, the point of what we're trying to do is increase our audience. So we got to be fair, objective. We got to be non-biased, but we've got to give people what they want to read.
And we've talked about this before with the media, and I guess you guys aren't really print; you're more social media. So,
just online. We have a website
online, so just online. Yeah. So, we had the Vindicator, which was in our area, shut down. Mm-hmm. Right, we're getting bought by the Trib, I guess, but it's the Vindicator, the Tribune, Chronicle, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
How is it for you guys surviving as far as advertising dollars? Because that we've talked about that before, and we've said it's got to be tough now because there's just so much stuff and so many places you can get news from, right?
Yeah, it's funny. We restarted what we did in February. I don't know if you remember last year, there was some people from the old Mahoning Matters that left, and they were like, we got transition stuff over. So they kind of put the site on hold for a couple months. Like the site just had national news on it, who ended up to be me. It's funny. We're still trying to figure out what to do with advertising. But what we've done is from, display ads that you see on websites.
Yeah.
We're making our budget on that alone. So we have a fundraising campaign where you can donate if you want, stuff like that. But we're getting so many views that we're at least paying our bills with that. Awesome. So we haven't even dipped our toe into the advertising yet. The problem is, I know you guys work some with advertising. We operate as a nonprofit, tax deductible. So
you're a nonprofit.
Yeah, so our for-profit branch wants to sell ads on our website, but it's tough because, if you sell it for any other site, it's for profit. So if you say, I want to buy a $100 ad, you don't get any money back. Well, for the tax deductible, you can get whatever money you get back. So in our development, we're still trying to figure out how to offer those ads, and that's going to come soon. But the exciting thing is, we're not like, oh, please give us money or we'll go under. Yeah, we always would like the public's help, but we're finding ways of at least, maintaining healthy, making our budget with just people who come to our website and click on ads and stuff like that.
Awesome. So the website, that makes sense. The website's paying for it for the stuff like that. That makes sense.
And obviously, like when we ask for money and we do other stuff, ask for grants, we want to increase our staff. So I can come to you like 3 years from now and say, hey, we've got four full-time people. But until then, we're encouraged by the fact that just from the website itself, we're at least paying our bills. So it's not like, oh, we're going under it.
Gotta pay the bill, man. Dude, and I'm telling you, that's a concern. I mean, print media is important. So like the Trib is still good, the Tribune or whatever it is still doing it. But you don't get a newspaper, do you, Isaac?
No.
I don't understand how those places stay going still. I really don't.
It's funny. I used to buy 4 newspapers a day. I was the biggest newspaper geek ever in the world.
Really?
I haven't touched the newspaper for like 5-10 years. It's all been digital for me. You can get more money off newspaper ads. It just costs more because you have to pay for the printing, the ink, and all that good stuff. So I don't know much about that. I mean, I'm more of a digital guy now. But but the thing I like about digital too is, look, there's a game going on right now. I could write a story about that game. I could have it up online as soon as the game's done. Print, you have to wait. I mean, it might be a day, it might be a 2, but deadlines are so early. And again, like you guys said, not many people are looking at print anymore. So how do we meet the needs of people? That's where it comes down to.
That's it. Wow, that's cool too, man. I don't know. She wants us to check on her. Would you reach out to me to share our business supports for her? How my business supports the community? She's on LinkedIn. I was like, look her up.
I don't know if it's us or if it's somebody who shared to LinkedIn. I don't know who she's talking about.
What? And anybody, like, I'll say this: if anybody has an email, if anybody wants to reach out to me for anything, like a story idea or a ad or whatever, my email is news@mahoningmatters.com. So if anybody there wants to talk to me, just email me. I've been more happy.
And they message Mahoning Matters too, right, on Facebook?
Yeah, you can message Mahoning Matters too.
Right. That's
what have your Chris, what have your 3 most popular stories in the past couple months been about?
Generally, we do polls now. It's kind of weird. So like for the football season, we pick the 8 guys who had the best game of the year, and we put out as a poll. It's a popularity poll. We could say vote as often as you want for whoever the best player is. We'll get 150,000 votes per week, and those all count as page views. Yeah, it's crazy. Wow. Youngstown is amazing about its football and everything. We just announced our winner, and we talked to the kid, and he was like, "Yeah, I know people who would just sit online all night and vote for, but you can vote unlimited times for the people." So those stories, and it's funny, and they know it. I mean, we're not giving you big money if you win these polls. It's just like saying, hey, who's the best? And, people love their players. They love their teams. So I'll vote for that. Crime, any crime. It's not just the awful murders that we're seeing here in Youngstown, but even like a petty theft or something, or have you seen this person? Like we'll sometimes share Facebook messages from police departments saying, hey, we're looking for someone. Oh, people eat that stuff up. It's crazy. Yeah. I don't know if this is in the top 3, but seriously, anytime a news anchor leaves, or a news anchor comes, a reporter leaves or comes, people want to know what's going on. It's so funny. I think we're obsessed with our TV news. We'll just write a story and people will click on it like crazy.
And Youngstown you're going to get that a lot because we are like the step up to the bigger places, right? Like we're that Youngstown thing. I mean, there's only a couple who've been here a while. Like VC in the morning on WFMJ's been here for a bunch.
Yeah.
But everybody else. What's his name? Our dude's on Len Rome and what's his name? The old radio guy that was on our podcast.
I know who you're talking about. I forget.
Jim Lowboy.
Yes.
Those guys have been doing it for years. But most of the time, those guys, the younger ones, as soon as I see a hot blonde on like WKBN or WFMJ, I'm like, I'll be like, she's got 6 months and she's freaking out of here.
Any remotely pretty girl, they're
gone. And you think they hired me? I'm definitely not pretty or a girl, so it doesn't work on my part. So, but it's like everyone does that, and maybe they probably like an anchor or a reporter for whatever reason, maybe what you say or something else. But we just get obsessed with our personality. And I've had people question me online, why are you writing about this? I've had the reporter contact me and say, hey, thanks for the story, but it must be a slow news day. I'm like, no, anytime this happens, people care. I'll give you another one. You'll never think about this because before I heard about this, I'm like, no one really cares about this stuff. Anytime in Ohio, they put the flag at half staff. If a famous person dies, if they're, remember like Pearl Harbor Day, we write about that. We get incredible amount of clicks for that because a lot of people just want to know what's going on. Like my wife isn't a news person, but she'll come home and she'll say, Chris, the flags are half staff. What's going on? And I'll tell her, hey, it's, somebody died or something else like that. People just like that stuff. So again, local news is important to us. We definitely value that, but we look forward to opportunities like I was just telling you guys about. They work well, and it's not a trick or some sneaky way. People want to know about it. When you look at how many people click on it, it's like, hey, people want to know that stuff. So
no doubt. Isaac, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
To you, even though we have Chris right now and we're interviewing.
Yeah.
Can I ask Isaac a question?
Sure.
Isaac, why is there a gun on your back of your wall right now?
Yeah, I need to ask that too. It might be a story tomorrow. People will care.
Yeah, I think you can write a story.
It's people get mad at me all the time because it's pointed at the door, and you're not supposed to do that because the barrel
is that bad. Is that bad?
Because the barrel is aimed at the face of the person who walks through the door, so that's not good. But but number one, it's not loaded, and number two, I would flip it around if I can, but I can't because there's it's a bolt action. So you pull the bolt back. If you turn it around, the bolt won't let it sit on that stand. So I have to face it because the bolt shoots out to the right. So I have to face it that way.
It's our uncle's gun too, right?
Yeah. So it's my godfather lived up in Montana. It's actually an Enfield rifle. It's a World War I rifle. But it's supposed to come the wood is supposed to come all the way down to the end of the barrel, but he chopped it up to make it lighter so that he could use it for hunting. So that's what the boys out
there you go
used it for hunting.
There you go. Well, there it's a little memorial to Uncle Chuck, right?
Yeah, to my uncle. And then up the bald eagle above me, up here, that was on the front of Grandma's house, Luke. That was, how she had the eagle on the top.
Oh yeah, I know. I remember that. Yeah. There you go.
I took that down and put that up on my wall.
And Chris, can you tell us about your stupid Steeler thing right there?
Yeah, I'm a Steelers fan.
You want to tell us about this?
Yeah, there's a lot that's wrong with me if you really look at it. But the Steelers fan, they've been good for a long time. This year, it's been just awful.
I'm not sure you guys are going to win another game. I'm going to be dead serious.
Oh, I don't doubt either. It's crazy because I do a Steelers podcast. Everybody in the Steelers community is like, hey, Mike Tomlin's a good guy. He's got to get out of here. But everybody I talk to, it's either a Browns fan or a fan of anybody else, is like, oh, Mike Tomlin's the best. He's a good coach. I think his voice is kind of run out. I mean, you guys see this in your work. I mean, you probably have some employees that do really well at where you're at. And after a while, it's like, hey, maybe it's time to move on. It doesn't mean you're a bad person or anything. And I think that's where the Steelers are at. It's just
need something new. Something new.
Yeah.
Something new. I get it. Here we go. Here's a good question.
Oh, sure.
from one of our we talked about this a couple times, Chris. Any plans for Mahoning Matters to do an in-depth investigative report on how Rep. Bill Johnson got appointed as president of YSU? There has to be a backstory as to who pulled the strings and why the secrecy. Now, do you guys do investigative reporting like that?
We do when we can. Again, we're kind of limited in our reporting, so we have had in-depth stories over the past year.
Yeah.
In terms of personnel, when you have like one full-time reporter, it's hard to say, hey, reporter, spend the next 2 weeks on this in-depth story and we'll publish it. Because, yeah, if it's this great, like Woodward and Bernstein, all the President's Men thing, we might get 1 million clicks, but if nobody clicks on it, we're not doing what we need to do in terms of the audience. But that said, we've really extensively covered the Bill Johnson thing. I remember the first day I got the press release, I was like, whoa, this is weird. Like, you know, a lot of us were trying to figure out who was going to be the new president of Youngstown State. We didn't expect Bill Johnson. So we've done a lot of reporting into it. I'll tell you, it's frustrating, to be honest with you. And I've had conversations with Youngstown State about this. When I started as a journalist about 20 years ago or so, there was so much that was available in terms of Freedom of Information Act. Youngstown State, a lot of the stuff they're not giving to us. And, you know, a lot of times news orgs don't want to spend all their times in the courts. But we're investigating this because it's technically public information.
They're not giving you info?
Yeah, I mean, we made an easy to understand request saying, who are the other finalists in the case? Can you tell us other people who applied for the position? Because I've had a ton of conversations on and off the record with Youngstown State people. And I listened to your show where you guys talk about your concerns with Bill Johnson. What you guys say make a ton of sense. And I address those concerns. I address them. And again, I'm non-biased, so it's not really concern, but just questions I have. Yeah. Like, I get a little irked, as well as you guys do, when somebody talks ill about your publication or podcast online. Yeah. What do you think they're doing? I mean, they are getting hammered. I mean, they probably have 500 times the amount of complaints. And I talked about that. I said, they say, is the juice ever worth the squeeze? So, yeah, they like Bill Johnson, but if a bunch of people say we're taking our money away, if they get 1 million negative tweets a day about it, do they change their mind? And I've heard off the record, they're like, no, this is their guy. This is who they want. This is who the guy is. And I wrote a column about it, which kind of took them a task to say, why don't they make that public from the start? You think Jim Tressel Tressel's a god up here in Youngstown.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So they marched Jim Tressel around. They said, hey, look at Jim Tressel. He's great. He's wonderful. Well, Bill Johnson and Mike Pearson, the chair of the board of trustees, he said this on the record. Once you meet him, you'll like him. He's our guy. He's our best guy we could have. Well, if you didn't make the search process open, how did you meet him until they already picked the guy? You know what I mean? And the other question I have is, if he's the guy and if he's the best guy, he's a politician. You know, he went from being a politician to being a president. That would be like if I went from a journalist to being a realtor. Maybe I've got some nice traits that can make me a good realtor, or maybe I fall flat on my face. Nobody knows until I get in that position. Same thing with Bill Johnson. He might be a good president. Nobody knows. But if Pearson's going to walk around and say, once you meet him, you know he's great. One, why didn't they try him around? Why didn't they put him on your show, put him on my
stuff?
And say how great he is? They're not doing that, for one. So to answer the guy's question, we'd love to do an in-depth report. We've done a ton of reporting on it, but there's only a limited sense of we can get when no one's willing to talk about it.
Jerry, you want to know my absolutely uneducated, totally have never met Bill Johnson or know anything about the situation opinion here. I would say that you will get your answer if you just follow the money. I think it has everything to do with money on all fronts of that decision, from investors into the school, the money that they're giving to the school and what they believe in political wise. Bill Johnson's ability to come in and be a politician and get money for the school, which is, sometimes I don't know if it's worth it because of the, you're going to have the attacks from the left. And I just think across the board, it is a decision made purely on money and revolving around money. So I don't think it's right. I think it's stupid. I think you're better off. You really care about money and money coming into YSU. I think it should be based on purely like go out and get a famous person and just make them the president of the school.
The Rock.
And
We said go get Rocky.
The Rock, or
Rocky
somebody that everybody loves and isn't involved in politics.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, like when he was president or when he was governor of California. Why was he governor? Because he's popular.
But I think the linchpin truly is the people that and companies that are investing in the school and where they are politically. I bet they were like, hey, listen, this is what I want the school to be. Because this is what I believe, and this is all the money I have in the school, and that's my leverage. So do what I want or else is probably what happened.
Makes sense.
That's my bet.
No, and I don't disagree with you guys at all. And I would say, too, in the media, we always yell about, we need more public information. If you're not tied in the media, you're like, what are they yelling about? Well, Youngstown State is a publicly funded school.
Yeah.
We need to know that, not to make us happy so we can say, yay, we got this info. As a public taxpayer, you need to know. You need to know that Bill Johnson was the best candidate. You need to know if he was, if I was the other finalist and you guys were the other finalists. Yeah, maybe Bill Johnson's better than us are, but you're not going to know that if they don't give you information. And that's something that as a taxpayers, and you might sit there and say, okay, I pay my taxes 50 different places. Who cares?
Right.
But, I had Chipotle for dinner tonight. If they charged me $12 instead of $8 that they charged me for my dish, I would get ticked off. Well, as taxpayers, you should get ticked off if you're saying, hey, even if like I make minimum wage and maybe $20 goes to Youngstown State of my pay or whatever. Well, if I'm not getting the information I need, I'm ticked. I'm paying my $20 whenever I pay.
Right. And like you said,
you don't
Chris,
understand that. Yeah.
Right. And like you said, Chris, I don't be mad. Don't be mad and don't fall for the games of politics and be mad because they hired this right-wing politician. Be mad at the school for not giving you the information that you deserve. Like, hey, listen, if you say you interviewed people, tell us who you freaking interviewed. Yeah. It's shady and slimy that you made this decision in a back room and you're claiming one thing. And to me, outside looking in, if you're saying you interviewed people, but you just all went and made this decision without telling anybody that you were going to do it, that tells me that you're straight up lying to the public and you don't have other people you interviewed. And you just picked Bill Johnson just because you wanted to pick Bill Johnson. There was no interview process. If that's not true and you want to come at us and say, oh, these guys don't know what they're talking about, then prove me wrong and come up with the other people that you interviewed. Like prove that you interviewed them, and then it won't feel as gross. But they are not doing that. They're just like, this is what we did. This is how it's going to be.
Did you guys do an information request?
Yeah, and they said no. And actually, I came from USA Today.
What was their reasoning for saying no?
Well, they cited the case. I used to work for USA Today, Ohio branch. So we worked with Columbus Dispatch, Cincinnati Enquirer. We had a 40-hour-a-week dedicated attorney for media relations.
Yeah.
This guy lost the case in a similar matter. And once I looked at that, I sat there and said, I don't think we're going to win that either. And I think the rules have changed. And again, it's not political because I think both sides want to be that way. Mm-hmm. I remember when I was starting out in journalism, I loved the stories where the local school hired a football coach. You ask for all the names of the applicants. And it might be a rival football coach. It might be a realtor in town. It might be the janitor of the school. And you looked at it and said, oh, that's interesting. These are legitimate. These are funny candidates, whatever. Everyone who did that got ticked because they sat there and said, hey, if my name's in the paper, then my current boss is ticked with me. Say I was a finalist, which I wasn't for YSU, but I might get mad to say, hey, if you put out my name, my company's going to get ticked to say, why are you interviewing to be the YSU president? I get that. If I'm in that position, like say I'm the president of University of Akron and I applied for the Youngstown State one, I get they could make your job tough at the University of Akron, but I also get publicly funded institutions are a lot different than a private company.
Right.
And that's a chance you have to take. I mean, there's advantages of doing it that way and there's disadvantages.
That makes sense.
And I know it kind of sucks for your career potential, whatever. But again, this is freedom of information that's out there. So, to Jerry, I mean, yeah, I'd love to do more reporting. I think we've done in depth for what we can get. But when they don't give us the information, it's
Yeah.
hate to be a little biased, but it's a little scuzzy. Yeah.
The Freedom of Information Act, too, by the way. I've done a couple of those where I requested them, and we've actually dug up some shit before that nobody knew about, right? Like legitimately, remember in Austin Town, Isaac?
Yeah.
I did a Freedom of Information Act because we caught wind that one of the trustees who got fired, that Steve Kent guy who was indicted on, what was it? He got away with the 2, but then he got indicted on, what did he get indicted on? Destroying evidence.
Destruction of evidence.
Yeah,
He
destruction of evidence.
deleted text messages. Yeah.
So he hated us because we were just riding like resign. You need to resign. Why aren't you resigning? So I did a Freedom of Information request on their emails, and I caught him in the emails basically trying to pull a vote on something, saying, I vote this, what's your vote? Like in an email, which is like so illegal for the open meetings law, and you got to announce it and all this, that, and the other. I mean, and we fried him, right? So we got, and again, I think they got all the information. So released it. It was great. We had like the Tribune stole. Remember the Tribune stole our article? They legitimately took our info that we had, ran it, and the reporter ran it like literally. Well, we discovered, we're like, you freaking liars. And I called I emailed the editor, and he's like, oh, this is how our industry works, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, get the hell out of here, dude.
No, you have to attribute people. You have to say, according to this.
Nothing, no quote for us or anything like that.
Yeah.
And it was so shady. Anyways, I don't think people realize the power if you can get them to do it and you stay on it, the Freedom of Information Act. And it's not just news. Anybody can do it, right?
Yeah. My understanding is, yeah.
Anyone can request information from the government, from public schools, anything. So,
yeah, you just have to give a timely thing. So I can't sit there and say, I want every email that Jim Tressel sent, back and forth from Youngstown State. I'll give you 4 hours. No, you can ask for a lot of information, but you have to make a reasonable request. That's really the only issue. Yeah.
We've done it, and I've had a lot of success. I've done it in a couple different. We did it with Canfield. We did it with our friend Nikki Frenchco up in Trumbull County. We did that with her in a video. We got a video out of that one. Remember that?
Yeah.
The sheriffs, they handed me the video. The sheriffs were literally handed me the video, like the thing. The sheriff, they're like, I cannot hand it to me, and they're like, I cannot wait to see what you and your brother do with this. Like it was like legitimate. It was really, really funny.
Yeah. I mean, I guess my advice to any not outlet, but government organization is, I know sometimes you don't want to reveal things, but just put it out there so people understand what's going on. I mean, really, when you're trying to hide something from me, that's when my antenna goes up. If you just say, hey, here's the info, I'm like, all right, who cares? I might write a brief about that. That's it. But if you're trying to hide stuff, I'm like, screw it. I'm going after you guys,
100%.
Yeah. And I mean, if I was in PR again, I would just reveal more information. If it's something really sneaky, I would hide it. And like I said, with the whole Bill Johnson thing, man, just put him out there. If you think he's the best, put him out there. But again, anytime you do a politician, it just gets squirrely. I mean, Republican, Democrats.
Everybody thinks it's gross. It's just the people who are on his team have to defend him because they have to defend him politically.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so, it's the same thing every time. It's so gross. Everybody knows it. It is what it is. And it's just so sad how people haven't forced it to come to an end. It really is.
I feel bad for, this helped Bill. Sorry about that. This helped Bill Johnson, but I actually feel bad for the guy because he's in a huge hole right now because no information got released. So even if it benefits him, even if he's like, "Oh, don't get my name out before I, got the job." I mean,
I don't know, man. I feel like it's at the same time, this freaking loser is collecting his paycheck or will be collecting his paycheck. If somebody's saying all this bad stuff about you and saying this decision wasn't made, prove them all wrong. Go out and do PR and talk to the community and do what Tressel did. Get involved in everything and and shout from the rooftops how awesome YSU is. He's not freaking doing that.
He is actually, Isaac. He's on tomorrow. I think Joe's releasing it, but it's not live. Youngstown Studio. Our buddy Joe is interviewing him.
Interviewed Bill Johnson.
Yep.
Good.
Today, and it's going live tomorrow. He's interviewing. I'm really excited about it. That's shout out to Youngstown
I'm excited
Studio.
to watch it. Yeah, I'm excited to watch it. We'll see what he says. I'm sure our buddy Joe was prepped on here's what you're not allowed to say, Joe.
I'll have to ask Joe.
Sure he was.
We'll have to ask Joe.
I'm sure he was.
Well, here's a huge unanswered question about Bill Johnson. And I've got emails out to Youngstown State. I've called his PR person. When's he resigning? Because if you look at this, and this is another hour-long conversation we don't have time for, but right now the Republicans have a one-seat advantage after Johnson leaves in the House. So this isn't just, a Youngstown State issue. For a lot of Republicans who want to keep their majority, they need this. Well, right now, all Johnson says, hey, I'll be over there by March. Well, Helen Lafferty, who was the interim president, she was asked to leave by December 31st. She was on loan from Villanova. And Mike Pearson, after the meeting, said, hey, we're trying to get him in as soon as possible. They haven't figured out when he's coming. And what happens if it's January 1st? Yeah, they can name an interim. It could be Pearson, the provost, or anything. But I think that's the next big domino to crumble here, is saying, when is he going to resign? When's he officially taking over? I know he's kind of like the president waiting and everything else. But and since no one's gotten back a hold of me, it's telling me they haven't decided yet. I mean, they haven't come to the decision. So that's the next domino. I mean, he's not going to lose his job. I mean, he's got his job, but there's a lot that hasn't been decided yet. It's really fascinating here.
So, all right, wow, this almost been an hour already. Holy crap!
Yeah, really.
Time goes fast. So tell you said something before we get into the elevator speech about Mahoning Matters. And let you go to bed and finish your Jimmy John's.
Oh yes.
What? So you said you have a podcast?
Yeah. It's a goofy thing. I call it View from the Pew. We have one guy on there that loves to talk pop culture. So he'll talk movies. Akron Beacon Journal movie reviews, a buddy of mine. So he'll come on, they'll talk streaming TV, they'll talk about movie reviews. I've got a Steelers podcast. I got a couple friends of mine that love to talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
And we pretty much yell at each other because it's been awful good to be a fan. And then we have a goofy show called the Etc. Show, where we take all kinds of weird stories in the news and we just make fun of them. Probably a lot of like when I listen to you guys and we just say,
absolutely.
Yeah. So we've had a lot of fun. We talk about people that, have gone number 2 in airplanes and everything, just a bunch of goofy things. And, we like to make fun of stuff too. So
what's that one called? Where's that? Is that on Spotify? What do you got it at?
Yeah. View from the Pew. I'll be honest, I've been so busy with work. I haven't gotten to upload as much as I want to, but check it out. Yeah. I mean, it's fun. It's kind of my passion project. And we also share some like my work interviews on there too. But the fun ones are like Etc. and the Steelers. And
I'll check it out. What's that?
Speaking of that story, did you hear about that guy that pooped his pants on the plane and they had to land it because he got shit everywhere in the plane?
Somebody pooped on an airplane and they had to land it?
Really?
Yeah, like hazardous. So they claimed it was like a hazardous situation where they had to land the plane because there was poop everywhere on the plane.
Wow.
Start typing, Chris. You got an article.
Yeah. Well, there was a lady we talked about a couple weeks ago where she had to go. For some reason, they didn't let her back into the bathroom. She's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, guys." So she just pulls her pants down. She just takes a dump in the middle too. So this
I wonder if you get in trouble for that. Like, how much do you get charged for pooping in the middle of the airplane?
Well, was it like intentionally pooping, or was it like a person that just lost their bowels? Like, I don't know.
Where I get embarrassed about is when I have to go, I have to go. So if I say, hey, I gotta go, and they're like, oh, you gotta wait, I'll be like, there's not much I could do. No, I'm not going to go in the middle of the plane and say, hey, looky here, everyone, and
I probably would.
But there's not much I can do. When it starts, it starts. So
there you go. So all right, well, let's talk before we get you out of here. So tell us again where Mahoning Matters. On Facebook, website, www.mahoningmatters.com.
Yeah. And check out, we do a lot of Facebook, Twitter, a bunch of other stuff. My personal Twitter account's like Chris Pugh. Last name is Pugh. It's pronounced like the Pew polling or whatever. Yeah. It's Chris Pugh edited. So yeah, check us out. Like I said, we're a media organization. I've heard some people talk about the organizations like it's the most serious thing in the world. We're passionate about what we do, but we're another media organization. And again, we just, we appreciate the support. If you can't give, you can't give. But just look at our website, share it with your friends. We have a free email newsletter. We're just doing our best to build up our audience. So thanks, guys. I've enjoyed listening to your podcast for the last couple of weeks.
If the Browns make it to the Super Bowl, you going to root for the Browns?
I can't. I actually. Well, there's actually a good story there. I'm like 48 right now, and it was 86 when Elway had to drive. And my mom comes up to me before the game, and she said, "You got to root for the Browns over the Broncos." And I'm 11. I didn't know what I was doing. So I'm like, sure. And I got disappointed because, Elway had to drive, and he beat the Browns. So I can't make that mistake again.
Yeah.
I still cry. I'm 44, so I was like 6 or I remember, in my head, Elway drive. I remember the fumble. I remember I was crying. I remember crying as a little kid because we lost. I totally remember.
Well, here's the other thing. How do you guys feel about Joe Flacco? I mean, this guy was the enemy. I mean, I know he's playing great for the Browns, but I'm thinking, what would happen if Joe Flacco came to the Steelers? I mean, I guess if he balled out like he did for the Browns,
if he balled out like he's balling out, I guarantee you'd be cheering for him.
Oh, well, there was talk of Baker Mayfield maybe going to the Steelers. I'm like, boy, I don't know if I can do that. Or could you imagine if Big Ben came back and played for the Browns? I mean, it's so crazy.
You know what? You throw 3 touchdowns and win games like Flacco's done. I'll cheer for freaking whoever. I'll cheer for John Elway if he comes and plays for the Browns.
Right.
I like the Big Ben podcast. He is still bothered that the Browns didn't pick him in the draft. I mean, oh yeah, he pokes fun at it just because he's pissed because they didn't draft him. Yeah. It was crazy.
Wow. Yeah. Well, Miss Pugh, we appreciate you watching. We appreciate your support. We'll keep sharing your stuff. We'll work together. Yeah. Huh? That's cool. I enjoy working with you and emailing back and forth and messaging each other. So
yeah, let's figure out ways to collaborate. Be fun. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. If you think anything, let us know, guys. Everybody watching Mahoning Matters. They're on Facebook. You can't miss them. Go on there. And follow it too. If you click follow, you'll get like news articles. That's what I do. And like I said, it's a good way to keep up, and they're quick little articles, which are fast because I have ADD. So obviously those are perfect for me because if not, I'll really nap and not pay attention. So
yeah, thanks, guys. I really have fun. Appreciate it.
We appreciate it. All right, we're booting you, Chris.
All right, have a good one. Talk to you guys later,
man. Thanks a lot.
All right, bye.
That's a good media guy. You see that? I like it. He seems down to earth. He seems like he wants to do good.
It's almost like if you are just trying to get stories to people and get the most amount of views, if you take that route, you're unbiased.
Yes.
Because no matter the information, if it's crazy shit from one side or the other,
you're just relaying information.
You're just relaying that crazy ass information to get views, which in turn exposes the one side.
Right.
For exposes the shady stuff.
The problem is with the media, and again, if you read theirs, they're not biased. It's when you get, like, I think the Tribune does it. I think a lot of, when, like you said, the longer articles, you can see the personality of the author and what their beliefs are start dripping in. Does that make sense? You're 100%
right. And then the other thing too is like the national media. Like once you get sponsorship from certain organizations and companies and the money starts flowing, then it's like it just becomes leverage. So if this company is sponsoring the news is incentivized to not talk shit about that company. So I don't know, example, pharmaceutical companies.
Mm-hmm.
What happened in the last couple of years that they would not want to talk bad about?
COVID?
They get freaking sponsored by pharmaceutical companies. Just, it applies to anything.
Yeah.
Anything. If there's a company that's advertising and sponsoring the news, they will always, always, always have incentive to not talk bad.
Well, how about this? How about this one? You have those companies that sponsor the news also support political candidates, so it flows both ways, and then you get CNN and Fox where it's going both ways because of the advertisers. 100%.
Right.
It Yeah, if I'm chucking over $1 million to CNN and I don't like an article,
Right.
I'm going to call you and say, I don't like that. You either don't do that again or I'm going to pull all my funding.
Right. You're almost better off like not letting the money flow in from the companies and you're almost better off almost making them like social media famous so that they get money for like the more views they get and the more people that watch, and then that would in turn keep them away from bias.
100%. But it'll never happen. There's too much money out there. It'll never happen.
There's got to be a way to incentivize them to not take a side. There's got to be a way to do it using money, because that's the only thing that forces people's hands, you know?
Yeah. Okay, Kasana, want to message us? I'm curious. She's been commenting here, and I just I totally just LinkedIn stalked her.
Luke, did you, when we went to that company the other day, Orion's?
Yeah, I'm working on the video still.
Did you end up getting a rock?
No, I got from Orion. I'm working on a video, by the way, for Orion's Realm and Boardman. We went in there. It's like they sell, what are they, crystals?
Yeah.
Crystal meth? No, crystals, not crystal meth.
No, just crystal.
Do you have one? Let me see it.
I bought one.
Let me see
I bought a $30 gemstone.
Let me see it.
So it's called Shungite, and it's supposed to be, you're supposed to buy it for your office. So I got one of those little paper things, right?
Oh, look at that. It's an obelisk.
It's an obelisk, but it's like a green. I don't know if you can see. It's like a real dark green.
Yeah. What does that do? What is that supposed to ward off spirits?
So it's supposed to do supposed to suck out the electromagnetic waves of the computers and also help you make good decisions as a leader.
How's that going for you? How's all of that going for you?
I don't know. I got an awesome real estate deal, and I'm working on another one.
You're doing pretty good. So I got a potion.
You got a potion
that I'm ingesting to make you feel better.
Okay.
And I've been drinking.
Listen, I'm not going to eat anything, you know.
I mean, when I say it right now that I bought some potion, it sounds really bad for some reason. I think I'm ingesting something that maybe I shouldn't.
So Luke, you know what these are right here?
Is that an IKEA? Is that a desk?
No, it's our real estate. It's our real estate signs.
Oh, it is our real estate. Did you get them?
So you put the rider down here and you put the sign right.
Do you have our signs?
No, I have. Dude, it's gonna take. We're probably not gonna get our signs for like a week, but my signs should be here either tomorrow or the next day.
We're getting some business, man. It's been good.
I know, but here's what's coming. You're gonna be seeing this in a yard near you very soon.
Yay!
I'm so pumped. I'm so pumped for people to see
so legitimately, if you're watching, there's only 7 people left. This is our yard signs for real estate when Isaac and I have a listing together. And it's going to be, that picture is going to be
incredible.
It's so awesome.
Perfect. It's perfect. There's nothing better.
Like honest to God, Isaac.
Yeah. It's perfect.
It is so funny. You want to know what? I bet we're going to gain people's attention.
Oh, for sure, we're going to gain people's attention. And then we did this. I got this house under contract.
Look at the garage.
Yeah, dude, huge ass garage, big old house. Wow. And then I'm the real estate agent here,
and I'm helping finance that. We have another listing. We have a listing coming out Friday together, which we're doing together.
Co-listing.
We're working on a couple other listings. It should be good. I'm excited. So that includes us. And don't forget, we have our mortgage license too. So if we're going to refinance, purchase, we can do that too. We can do both. Dual license. So,
yep.
All right.
It's going to be a big year for the MLO bros.
What's that?
I said it's going to be a big year for the MLO bros.
I think it really is. I think we're going to be kicking some butt here. So I'm kind of excited about it. Merry Christmas, Jerry. All right, everybody. We'll be back Thursday. It's going to be a talk back. No, do we have a guest? I don't think we do, right?
I don't think so. Nobody yet.
No, we don't have a guest. We'll do a talk back on Thursday. We'll pull up some news and do that and talk about some.
And we'll do like a Christmas theme show or something.
You want to do a Christmas?
Yeah, what to drink hot chocolate and be in our pajamas.
Maybe we'll have Joe. You want to see if we can get Joe on to talk about having Johnson on?
Yeah, I think it'd be fun.
Have Joe on? We haven't had Joe on in a while. Let's have Joe on. Youngstown Studio. So, all right, we'll be back Thursday. Goodbye, everybody. I'm going to bed. I'm so cold still.
Me too. I'm tired.
I'm going to bed. All right, bye, everybody.
Bye.